Hi, and welcome to Sprout Sessions, where our pros pull back the curtain on what it really takes to build, manage, and grow a successful website. We're here to answer your questions and share what we've learned from working on real-world websites every day, so that your website can work harder and you can focus on what you love.
Before we dive in, here's a quick intro. We're CYBERsprout, a web design and development team based in Minnesota. This year, we're celebrating 10 years of helping organizations bring their website ideas to life.
In that time, we've built custom websites for over 300 clients. Our goal? Websites that look amazing and perform even better, bringing in leads, streamlining content, and helping our clients grow.
What really sets us apart is our team. Between us, we have decades of experience in the web development, user experience, SEO, and digital marketing space. We bring all of these to the table for you in these sessions.
This series moves fast, but don't worry, we're here if you want to dive deeper. You can visit us anytime at cybersprout.net and click Let's Connect at the top of the page. We've also dropped the link in the video description.
If content like this helps you out, do us a favor. Like this video and hit subscribe. It's the best way to stay in the loop as we roll out more website tips, tools, and ideas for navigating today's digital world.
All right, we're glad you're here. Let's get into it. This is Sprout Sections.
So another question that people sometimes struggle with is the importance of keeping your website's backend software up to date, talking about things like plugins, themes, and the CMS itself. In the case of CYBERsprout, that's going to be WordPress. Nate, you want to give us your perspective from development world?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, keeping things up to date is very important with the day and age we live in. And I say that just because there's always someone, some entity, something trying to exploit websites. Keeping your website up to date will help mitigate that. It will help with any security vulnerabilities that may arise or be discovered within the plugins, the themes, the core software itself, and making sure that if they are discovered, which it could take weeks, months until something might be discovered. But we monitor those channels and those services out there that kind of take that on their shoulders, where they analyze the software and the plugins that everyone uses in the world. And once we see that there's a vulnerability discovered, we'll make sure that we're on top of it, that we update those as needed. But not only just for security vulnerabilities, performance and features. Things change, technologies change, right? Browsers, our devices change. As things change, everything is always getting better, we hope, right? So if something needs an update because of performance change and enhancement, that's another reason why we want to stay on top of it, stay in times with the technology. And then just overall compatibility with everything working together. We got the core package. Again, we use WordPress. We have several plugins that we will use on a website, and then the theme. All of those have to work together cohesively. And if something is breaking or conflicting, we just need to make sure that we stay on top of it and that it's updated. And again, we will look at that on a weekly basis.
A lot of times people don't realize that who are managing their own website. So there's a lot of agencies out there who will build your website and then it's yours and it's your responsibility from that going forward. And I think a few of the team members will talk about how we handle it here in a minute. But a lot of times people will call and something about their website's broken and they ask us to take a look at it. This is a WordPress website. We specialize in WordPress, so that's our baby. But the first thing we a lot of times notice is when we go in there that plugins haven't been updated for maybe ever. So something you can do if you do have an admin access to it is log into the back end of your WordPress site and go to dashboard. There'll be an updates section. And if you see a little red number there, that means that something is not current and not updated. That could be a good indication to you that maybe some plugin updates need to happen. Nate just alluded to sometimes that can create a conflict. You might want to have a practice in place to do a backup or something like that to save yourself a nightmare. But you want to, with some regularity, go through and make sure that those updates are being run so that things don't break over time for you.
Certainly with WordPress sites, it's really important too to make sure that you're using plugins and themes by developers that are keeping things up to date. It's their individual responsibility to make sure that each WordPress update is compatible with their product. Instead of making sure that you keep track of all of that, it helps to have someone else watching out for that. I'm sure that's a benefit in terms of sales, Angie.
Like you said, when you've got those updates that need to happen, yeah, your nephew may have created a plugin and that's great, but he's in high school and he has other things on his mind and he hasn't done what he needs to do to keep that updated. So people like us, where we are watching it and going, hey, let's not use that one, no offense, nephew, but let's use this one because it's got great reviews. We've used it in other places, and it's part of your service package that you have with us for us to keep that going. Stephanie, we talk about audits all the time, right? I mean, with our customers just before we get to even halfway through the sales process.
Oh, absolutely. Keeping your plugins up to date can affect the whole picture, everything that we've been discussing here, your loading speeds, and if people stick around, and if somebody gets to your checkout and your checkout hasn't been updated and it's just not working, they're not going to spend their money with you. Go through and complete that whole process. So it's so important. It's something that we're always talking about. Those audits can really find those little stinkers that are just hiding back there.
Going back to Angie's point there about the nephew that built your plugin, a lot of times people too will always be looking for the free plugin, and there are some really great free plugins out there. So I'm not dissing on them, but just make sure that they're reputable. Sometimes it's worth paying a little bit of money for a plugin that's managed and tested and kept current. It might be $5-10 or whatnot, but sometimes that's worth it in the long run.
WordPress makes it easy in the repository to dig in and find out more about the developer and look at their reviews and see how many installs that particular plugin has. But there's no
when was the last update's another good thing to look at.
Exactly. When was the last update? But that's really no substitute for having somebody with expertise keep track of that. I rely internally, Beth, I'm sure you agree, on having Nate troubleshoot those issues. I would say 99% of the issues I have when developing our site are often because something's either in conflict or out of date.
And you have to be able to, it's forensics, right? You have to go and dig around, root around, and make sure you figure it out, because whatever you did here, like you said, is going to potentially affect that, but you don't know that. As the website owner, I don't know that. That's not my expertise. I need somebody to help me with that for sure.
That's why we're here.
That's the nice thing too. A lot of times you can find a partner, a hosting partner, and we are one that doesn't just ship and deliver and it's your responsibility. They'll be with you for the long haul and continue to manage and maintain your website. That's part of our WordPress hosting. So if you do have a WordPress site and you need a more stable hosting environment and some help with maintenance, reach out to one of our team members. We'd be happy to visit with you about whether it's a right fit. But you can find some professionals out there who that's what they do. They monitor. It's like finding a doctor who's on top of it and goes for continual education and learning. We can be there to help you through some of that and then take care of those updates as they're appropriate for your site. And then also take care of the backup and things that we mentioned earlier. Like you're like, if that word backup just made you freak out because you're like, I wouldn't even know how to do a backup. Find a partner who knows how to do that stuff for you.
And that will let you keep the asset as yours and you own it. Because a lot of times they get in that we talk to, Stephanie and I talk to people that have gotten into a contractual relationship with someone that if they wanted to go somewhere else, they can't take everything that they've built because it's not theirs. It's the organization that built it, or it's going to stay with that host. So really pay attention to who's going to allow you to have the asset, and you can go move from host to host and take your asset with you.